The ends justify the means. The ends justify the means. You could do anything. Here, we're spying on Americans against neighbor. When he said, you know, okay, you shouldn't have done that with Hugo Black, he said, don't worry about it. The ends justify the means. We're hearing that now because that's not only FDR, that's not only Woodrow Wilson, but that is also Saul Alinsky. The ends justify the means. You just get it done. We'll pole vault if we have to. Nancy Pelosi. Now, let me tie these together when we come back. You've seen the boot. You've seen the shove. Let me show you the nudge. Been laundered again. We have the Committee on Public Information. We have the Office of War Information. Let me introduce you to OIRA next. America, we're going to go into a very different summer because there's a lot of history that is being erased, and I see our kids, honestly, as clay pots. Our kids need to be the clay pots the Dead Sea Scrolls were put in. We need to put the information in them, and they need to understand it and know it because it's all being erased. And it's being erased and being controlled exactly the same way it has always done, except I think it's 3 strikes, you're out. I think this is it. If we don't pay attention, this is it. We showed you Wilson. We showed you how his Office of, or his Committee on Public Information worked. The Office of War Information. Now let me show you Cass Sunstein. He is the head of the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. Okay? He said he's dreamed of this gig all his life. Why? If you know what this office has done in the past, why would you want that? If you think that bad things can't happen in America, much of it already has. We've already built the concentration camps. We've built them in 2 administrations. And we're mirroring these administrations now. Did you read the book, Philip Drew, Administrator, last night? Did you find that? You can find it on the internet. It's free. Find it. Go to glennbeck.com. I think we have it there. Let me go through the points here now, what Barack Obama is doing. Okay. Made a list of dangerous Americans. Those were German. Made a list of individuals that were a target. They were dangerous. That were the capitalists then. Who's this administration afraid of now? I can tell you right now. It's the evil banker. There's a list. We can make it. The evil bankers, the Tea Party goers, they're dangerous. They're possible terrorists. The GOP, you've got, what's his name, Deval Patrick up in Boston saying this week that, you know, this is like sedition. You also have Fox. You can make the list. The list of individuals to target, the list of dangerous Americans, it's there. You know it. The DOJ. Here, the DOJ set up prison camps. Here, the DOJ had internment camps. No due process. That was the key here. No due process. No due process here for Americans. Miranda rights. No due process. Our new Supreme Court Justice, Kagan, actually said, if you're suspected of financing terror, suspected, you're a citizen off the battlefield, they can pick you up and hold you indefinitely without due process or trial. Prison camps, no due process, no prison camps. Next one, banned books. This one was reviewed and edited Hollywood scripts and put pressure to change stories. This one is amazing because what did this guy do? It was what, 1936? Was it 36 that he did the FCC Communications Act? Yeah, 1934. Sorry, 1934 Communications Act. We're opening up the 1934 Communications Act now. We're talking now about net neutrality. We're talking about giving more money to PBS. We're opening up the ownership and the localism laws. We also have a president. Have you ever heard this? The president saying, hey, you should read the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post. Really? Really? Okay. Now, the fourth one. The fourth one here is Red Cross banned German Americans from participating in the Red Cross. Here we have, on the fourth one, was Germans, Italians had curfew and travel restrictions. Here, if you're not a member of the union, you're no longer going to be able to get a contract. You don't get a piece of the government pie. If you don't behave the way you want, you're out. Next one, 5. Engaged in 4-minute men. They infiltrated citizen groups, intimidated the press. I'm sorry, no. 5 is excused and promoted PC violence. Remember what happened here? They actually lynched a guy, and it was okay. They dismissed it. Tarred and feathered a guy just for whispering a prayer in a dying woman's ear in German. He was tarred and feathered. It was okay. Patriotic duty. Number 5 here was the NRA's boycotts. Here we've got the violence again. We have SEIU. How about the Panthers? How about the Panthers? Engaged and infiltrated the citizens, intimidated the press, engaged in 4-minute men. Back here, propaganda. Here, propaganda. Here, Green Week on NBC. We have Gibbs this week intimidating the press. Stop asking the president. Stop asking the president about the oil thing. How about this one? The NEA art. Do you remember this? We showed you this. They denied it. NEA art. Remember when we had, who was it? What was her name, Tiffany? Buffy Wicks. I knew it was a stupid name. Buffy Wicks, and she's like, hey, anything you can do to help the president promote his agenda, we sure would help it. What do you call all this? It's propaganda. They got it. Okay? The White House has declared war on this network. The president is now saying, and by the way, read the Huffington Post. And don't forget, what was the first question this president took in a press conference? Does anybody here remember? Who did he take his first question from the first press conference? The Huffington Post. They're working hand in hand now, almost like associates. Hey, where have I heard that before? Oh, yeah, Mr. Creel. Mr. Creel, when he said, with the nation in arms, the need was not so much to keep the press from doing the hurtful things as to get them to do the helpful things. It was not servants we wanted, but associates we wanted. It's amazing. War and economy, war and economy. We'll finish when we come back. We're running out of time, so I have to take this real quick. And I don't have time to recap. You're going to have to watch it on DVR. Wilson, he read private telegrams to get him. FDR, fishing expeditions with broad subpoenas to get him. Here, the DOJ is now in court arguing that you have no reasonable expectation of privacy and they can read your emails, and no reasonable expectation to privacy of location. Wilson spied on Americans, pitted neighbor against neighbor. Weak on FDR, but here it is. Do you remember when they said, hey, if you spot something your neighbor is doing that's suspicious, and you just send it to flag@whitehouse.gov, and people went nuts? Remember that? Also, Cass Sunstein has said, infiltrate groups, infiltrate extremists and conspiracy theories and discredit them. They're doing the same thing. This man has been compared to FDR, but I'm telling you, America, this man is this man. Check it out. Back in a second. You didn't even know you didn't know. The black founding fathers of this country, African Americans, and the role they've played. You do not want to miss this show. We recorded it, and we had many African Americans in the audience, and they, quite honestly, were angry at the end, saying, how come we never learned this? Learn it and see it tomorrow. From New York, good night, America.